Hello and welcome to Wedding Angels, the show. Wedding Angels is a wedding planning business that helps you to have the wedding of your dreams. I'm your host Sylvia, and we know that when you're planning a wedding, it's not all about just the cake and the flowers. There's lots of other issues that come up. That's why me and my guest hosts are here to help you through all those other problems that you may be having. So stay tuned to find out more. Now, it's meant to be one of the happiest times of your life, planning your wedding, but we know you can come up against lots of issues when planning. So today we are discussing, does planning a wedding change relationships with friends and family? So first up, we have Michelle, who owns a bridal shop. We have Kelly, who is a celebrant, and we have Evie, who's also a planner. Now, it's meant to be a time where it's the happiest day of your life and you're all excited planning your wedding, but it's amazing how your wedding can really affect other people. Sometimes it can bring out the best in people and sometimes it can bring out the worst. So we're here to help you with all your wedding dilemmas, and today we're looking at how relationships can change when you're planning a wedding. Now, we've all had different experiences in our professional capacity with weddings, and we just wanted to give you some of our opinions, some of our views, and hopefully those can help you. Now, Kelly, I know that you, as a celebrant, you've come across lots of different situations where there can be some conflicts, some problems. Do you want to tell us some of the things that you've seen?
Yes, I think it's that whole thing, isn't it? When you're planning some massive life event, everyone in the family and actually your friends, everyone suddenly has a massive opinion about everything. And I'd say whilst you really do need some advice and you do like some of those opinions, it can bring out the worst in some of your friends and family around you. So yeah, I think it's a very difficult time, something very difficult to get through for most couples. I'm going to say.
And do you have any examples? Like, what have you actually seen? Like, because you actually marry people, is there anything that's actually come up?
So when I'm meeting my couples and we're planning the whole ceremony, the whole point of being a celebrant is really to do something a little bit different. It doesn't have to be wacky, but, you know, I ask couples to think outside the box. And quite often I'm told, oh, I don't think mum would like me doing that. Oh, I don't think this one would like to do that. So my whole mantra is to say, let's just think about you as a couple and let's make it about you. Surely those parents, siblings, friends want you to have the day that you are looking for. But yeah, I think those opinions do actually become very important to the couple. They want to please everybody. And I think when perhaps parents have offered to pay towards the wedding, that's when it gets really, really tricky.
Yeah, I can imagine. Of course, it's lovely when someone offers to pay, but then they probably want to give their opinions as well. Thank you. Now, Evie, as a planner, you're right there from the beginning to the end. I'm sure you've seen your fair share of issues and things that have come up. Do you want to talk us through a couple of those?
Definitely. Like Kelly said, I think weddings do bring out sort of the stressful situations for people. There's a lot going on. Most people haven't already planned a wedding or been sort of part of, their own wedding before, so it's a new experience, which just heightens everyone's emotions, whether positive or negative. From my experience, I think one of the most sort of emotive subjects that kind of sort of divides families is children at weddings. I think it's a huge topic, and there's no right or wrong, and everyone's different. There's some people just have family children, but where do the family children end? Is it just nieces and nephews, or like really if you're close with your cousins, is it their children, or if you've got godchildren? That's when I've seen people sort of really fall out. And I get it to some extent, your child is the most important thing to you, but you do have to remember that your child will be there for a long time. It's this, as Kelly said, it is about the couple. It's their day, and as a mum myself, I'm more than happy to leave my daughter with someone else so I can enjoy a wedding. It's their day. I felt pressurised to take my child to my brother's wedding because he wanted her there, and it was more stressful than sort of other weddings when we've not had her there. But it really does divide opinion. Not just family, like obviously your friends and all guests really get involved in that one. It's a tough one.
No, definitely very controversial issue. Having kids at wedding, one that we will cover in another episode. But Michelle, you actually have some positive stories, some nice things you've seen, some beautiful moments that have come about when people are wedding planning. Do you want to tell us about those?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess a little bit different. So I have a bridal shop, so I have the fun side. I see so much positivity surrounding weddings when brides come in. And they're bringing their nearest, their dearest, they're bringing their best friends, they're bringing their sisters, their mums, their grandmas. And I mean, all I see is like positive stuff. Like it's just literally a room full of love, and everyone just wants that bride to be happy.
Aww.
And I've never really seen them get like funny about it, or someone go, well, I'm paying, so you can't have that dress, or anything. Like I've only ever seen like really positive, really beautiful moments that shared, like the bride's cried because she's happy, and then the sisters are crying, and everyone's it's literally, I just see like a really positive opportunity really. So yeah, I think like wedding planning, I guess I just see the fun side, the nice side to it. So yeah, I've never seen any like diva moments.
I mean, I think that's really important to note that yes, there are issues, but I think it's all about what you concentrate on as well, because yes, you might have some negative people having some negative emotions, but there usually always is at least one person that's really rooting for you, someone that's really happy for you. So I think that's really important to, maybe if you're going through that negative time, having those closest to you, those who you thought would be for you, kind of showing you a different side, to kind of feel out those other people that you might not have noticed before, who might not even be in your wedding party, who are actually very excited for you. So that can be one way to kind of deal with the difficulties that you can come across when it comes with your friends and family during planning a wedding. So we also have some comments. Actually, I've got some comments here from people around on social media, things that people have said. So we've got Rose. Rose says, yes, it does change. So relationships with friends and families do change. Friends can be jealous if they're not married or engaged. They might be off with you and not excited, and it can leave you in a lonely and confused place, as you would like to think all your friends are happy for you. She said family can be different depending on who you marry. And we had Kimberly. Now, Kimberly says, yes, your friendships change. You probably change too. So that's the other thing we might not consider, that maybe it's not just people around us that are changing. Maybe we're changing. It's a big milestone in our life. She goes on to say, as someone who's getting married in my mid-30s, I was on the opposite side when I was in my 20s. I noticed my friends getting distant and found that their significant others always had to come along whenever we hung out.
I think
that's a big thing, isn't it, in relationships? That is actually a big thing.
Me and my husband are happy to go separate. It's a bonus.
See, that's the thing. I guess sometimes people just don't know. Like, do you want us to invite your other half? Do you not? Just like you said with Evie, with the children, do you want us to invite children? Do you not want us to invite children? So I think a lot of communication is the key. And I personally think when couples are getting married, that yes, it's your day, it's what you want, but you really do have to at least consider what your nearest and dearest are thinking, what they might like. Just be a bit considerate towards others around you, even though it's your day, just to kind of help resolve the conflict that might come up.
I think you need to consider, like, obviously their friends and family, but I also think that the friends and family need to remember that it isn't about them and it is one day, whether that is about children or whether it is the mum who's paying for the dress and thinks that oh, I would have loved to have seen my daughter in a ball gown because I wore a ball gown. You know, it's one day, it's their day. Everyone's got to be considerate of everyone at the end of the day, but it is the couple who are getting married.
I think you're right, Sylvia,
diplomatic about how you go about things.
I think it's just talking, isn't it? Like, you know, like say kids at a wedding. I know that people have said to us, we'd like them there, but do you want them there? And we've compromised, and they go home at 7 o'clock. Like, there's a compromise everywhere. So I think you're right. It's just communication, isn't it? And I think, like, if your friends are your real friends, they'll be happy with whatever you just like decide together, and you can have that conversation, that honest conversation as well. Same with mums paying for stuff. Like
family sometimes.
Yeah. I think family are usually harder than friends.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, we did run a poll, so we wanted to see what you thought, and a whopping 75% of you said yes, relationships with friends and family do change when you're planning a wedding. So with that in mind, I think that it's important for couples to realise that there is likely to be a change, and it's quite normal. It happens to a lot of people. And it's just something that can be managed. So my advice would be, like I said before, just keeping those open lines of communication and really finding those people that champion you. So before we go, ladies, I'm going to ask each of you for some final closing words of advice for any couples that may be going through this. So I'm going to come over to you, Kelly, first. What would you say to a couple having difficulties with their friends and family?
I think it's really just to re-emphasise what we've all literally just said. It is that communication. I would say to make sure you address these points right at the very beginning of your planning. For example, if you're going to decide not to have children at your wedding, make sure that's known before those invites are even sent out. And then be very clear about, I think, Evie, you sort of touched on it, exactly what that means. Is that just family, kids that are allowed to come, nobody else? You know, you just have to be really, really clear right from the very start of this. And like Evie, again, you said, just be mindful as well. You know, none of us want to sort of end up being a bridezilla when we're planning our wedding. And it's easy to get really wrapped up, as much as it is for each of those individual people around you. They can also get wrapped up in this. I think to know that people aren't going out of their way to upset you. They probably genuinely are trying to be helpful. Find a nice way of saying thanks, but no thanks. I love your idea. That's really lovely, and it's really great that you're involved, and I really appreciate your support and your advice. But on this decision, we've decided to do this, and then that's it. We're clear about what we're doing.
Evie?
Yeah, just sort of echoing what yourself and Kelly have said about communication. I think Kelly touched on the point about your nearest and dearest are probably just trying to do what they think is right for you. But sometimes I do think that when you're all involved in a situation, it's hard for everyone to see a different perspective. So if you have got a lovely celebrant or you have got a planner, they're definitely someone that you can reach out to, because they can sort of see from sort of an outside perspective, like add a bit of, you might not quite see your mum's point when she's explaining it, but someone else might be able to kind of show you. And I just think lean on anyone who's offering support. It may not be those closest to you who you think would do it, because they're heavily involved and quite emotionally involved too. So just sort of, be mindful that they're sort of feeling the pressure, and look for other people who can support and champion you as well. There's loads of people out there who'll be willing to sort of listen and help and guide.
Great. And Michelle?
I guess Kelly and Evie kind of said quite a lot, but I kind of look at it the other way as well, in that if you're having problems with people and they're all giving their opinion, just keep it all a secret. Like, just don't tell anyone anything. Just like say, I appreciate. They can ask you stuff and be like, it's a surprise, and then you will not get their opinion. Because like, I can tell you on the day, like if you're talking to someone about centerpieces, they'll give you their opinion. On the day, they won't be looking at that centerpiece. Like, just don't ask. Don't.
Oh my
just keep all
goodness,
the
that's so
secret.
true, Michelle.
Like, the stuff
Yeah.
that you get,
I
like,
think that's a really good strategy.
I think that's the
I
best
remember-
bit of advice, actually.
Yeah.
Run at a distance.
I remember falling
It's
out
a
with
secret,
my husband's grandma about when the first decision. The first thing she said was, "What shape cake are you having?" And I was like, "Square," and she wanted a circle, and I was like, "What?" And you're just like, she had no. If you ask her now, she has no idea what shape cake we have. So I would say Eva, you're right as well. Like, a wedding planner or someone really close to you, or maybe like someone that's not quite that close. If you need someone's advice or you just want to run something by someone, perhaps don't go too close. Go to someone who's a little bit further out, who just wants to support you, really. And yeah, for everyone else, just say it's just a nice surprise. I want to surprise you all. So that's what I'd say.
Yeah. Oh. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for joining me. It's been wonderful. Thank you for all your little gems, and I hope that we have helped you and that you're able to carry on with your wedding planning and feel a little bit more reassured. But as always, if you're struggling, don't forget to reach out to the professionals. We do this day in, day out, and we're always here to help. So thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again.